faculty, and members of the board. Welcome to the 2023 graduation ceremony for Metropolitan School Frankfurt. There are a few housekeeping items to deal with before we begin. First off, please be aware that we have our fire safety procedures. In the event of an emergency, our primary escape route is the main door where you enter the sports hall. Our secondary route can be found at the back of the sports hall. Next, please be aware that we are live streaming the event for community members who are unable to attend. We also have a photographer to capture all of the most important moments throughout the ceremony. As such, we kindly ask participants to remain seated and refrain from taking photographs with a flash camera. Also be mindful that while attempting to take a photo, you are likely blocking the view of the audience member seated behind you. All in all, we will have enough footage, both video and still shots, so you can simply sit back and be present in the moment and enjoy the show. One last note on, oh, pardon me, that's embarrassing. Yes, sweetie, I'm actually at the graduation. No, I'm at the podium. Funny enough, I'm actually about to tell the audience to silence their cell phones so we don't disrupt the ceremony. Okay, yeah, Daddy loves you. All right, bye-bye. And scene. So the last note on the jig set, yeah, thank you. The last note on logistics is as we read the names of each graduate, undoubtedly there will be a large amount of applause. We kindly ask all audience to limit their applause to immediately after the name is called and during the photo. Once the photo is taken and the graduate begins to exit, we ask the audience to once again become silent in order for everyone to very clearly hear the name of the following graduate. We thank you in advance for your cooperation. And now, without further ado, I give you the graduating class of 2023. Thank you. I would now like to invite Mr. Peter Ferris, the founder and director of MSF, to the podium, as he has the distinct honor of introducing our keynote speaker.
Welcome to you all, and a special welcome to Professor Dr. Rainer Klump, who is here with us today as our keynote speaker. Professor Klump was Vice President of the Goethe University Frankfurt am Main, then Head of the University of Luxembourg, Rector of the University of Luxembourg, and since 2020, Scientific Director of the Center for Financial Studies at the House of Finance of Goethe University Frankfurt. He has also been Executive Director of the House of Finance since July 2022. Please join me in welcoming Professor Klum.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter, and dear graduates of the class of 2023, together with your families and friends, dear teachers and staff of Metropolitan School Frankfurt. First of all, my congratulations to your graduation. It's an enormous honor and an extremely great pleasure for me to be invited to speak to you at the occasion of this graduation ceremony. When I remember my own time, or the end of my own time at school, like 45 years ago, it was not at an international school like yours, but a very traditional German gymnasium. There was no ceremony like this today. One was simply invited to go to the director's office and receive a final certificate without any particular recognition. Or the document was simply sent by mail. Neither were family or friends invited to any kind of celebration. It was left to us, students, to organize some barbecue events on our own. This was nice and we had a lot of fun, and I'm sure you will also have organized something for your own. But looking back, it would have been much nicer if we could have had a ceremony like the one you have here today. Time changes, and sometimes it changes for the better, because what you have achieved with your graduation is not only worth celebrating formally or informally, but also, in my view, needs an appropriate public recognition. And this is why we are here and have we come here today. What you have achieved with your high diploma, and what you will certainly also achieve with your IB diploma in the near future, is remarkable and earns my full respect. And I say this not only as a private person, but also in my capacity as an academic and university professor. As most of you will continue higher education at a university or a comparable institution, and as I come from this academic sphere that you are heading to, let me please elaborate a bit on the particular focus of your education that impresses me so much. And let me add, I was very impressed when I saw the university offers that you have already achieved. And I have to say, I'm a bit disappointed that Goethe University apparently is not on that list. But as you will hear from me, maybe this is not necessary that you stay in Frankfurt. It's better that you go abroad and enjoy the university atmosphere at some nice place also in foreign countries. What I like the most when looking at the particular skills that you bring along from MFS is this truly international education that you have got. And this is what modern academic institutions all over the world ideally expect today from their students, because universities, and let me underline this, universities are by mission or by tradition, or both, very open, diverse, and internationally linked institutions representing the global universe of arts and sciences. And in that sense, universities reflect the global diversity and interconnectedness of business, of culture, and of politics. Economists, as myself, have always pointed out that this combination of global diversity of skills and intensive international exchange has contributed to a rising welfare of nations and individuals, whereas uniformity, nationalism, and protectionism has always led to stagnation, frustration, and poverty. It is true that the globalized world has dealt in the past and will deal also in the future with enormous challenges: climate change, shrinking biodiversity, war, financial crisis, economic problems. But who else, if not people with your international background and education, will be able to find and implement solutions for these challenges, will have a new view on world affairs, develop fresh ideas, and become true innovators. To be truly innovative, one has to view problems from different angles, and having an international education and orientation will certainly help you to find these different perspectives. These perspectives are also helpful when it comes to an interdisciplinary or even multidisciplinary approach to problem solving, because people that have studied different disciplines are typically as diverse as are people with a different cultural background. So please do not hesitate and continue with your international orientation. For example, not staying in Frankfurt with Goethe University, but studying in different countries so that you can experience and handle cultural differences, or at least by using all options for studying some time abroad. I can tell you from my own personal experience with studying in Germany and France, having had a longer-term internship experience in the United States, and having worked, as you have heard, for some years in Luxembourg, that these particular years that I spent in other countries have been very intense and enriching periods in my life and has become important turning points in my personal career. I also can tell you from the very positive experience of my two daughters who have had their school and study experience in the United States and England, that they also consider this as very important periods in their life. This in mind, I have always been myself pushing for more academic exchanges at my university and have been quite successful with this. I can tell you that next Friday I will be in Paris assisting at another graduation ceremony, a graduation ceremony for students with a double degree from Goethe University and the French partner university, a double program that I was able to establish and that has now been running for more than 10 years. So I wish you above all that you can stay open for any new international experience and that you will thus become true world citizens in your future life. You should take with you the global spirit that you have experienced here in Frankfurt, the most international city in Germany, and of course, all that you have learned and exercised here at Metropolitan School, your school. Let me congratulate you again for your achievements and for your graduation. I wish you all the best for your future life. Thank you very much for your attention.
It is my pleasure to introduce our first musical performance. Please welcome Ariana Swarson Elbisu, Tilda Cole on vocals, accompanied by Scarlett Kim and Catherine Naughton on piano and flute. They will perform a Scottish folk song entitled Loch Lomond.
True love will never be meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen on the steep, steep side of the Highland hills we view, and the moon coming out in the gloaming. You'll take the high and I'll take the low, and I'll be in Scotland no free. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. You'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland no free. But me and my true will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
I would now like to invite Mr. Peter Ferris back to the podium for the director's address.
Dear graduating class of 2023, dear Professor Klump, dear members of the board, dear parents, dear teachers, staff, and friends of Metropolitan School, and alumni students who are also with us here today. A warm welcome to you all here on campus and to those of you who are attending online from home. Today is an exciting day, and today is certainly your day. After 12 years of studying, you pushed yourselves to the limits, particularly in these past 2 years, and beyond. And you learned more than you ever imagined you could learn in this short period of time. And now, finally, you've achieved your success. You are graduating. And this is an enormous achievement. My sincere congratulations. And let us give them a big round of applause. Our graduates. Looking back, quote, "It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness." End of quote. Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities. I can figure out what the age of wisdom was, probably TOK, but you tell me later on what the foolishness was all about. Now, let us look ahead. At the end of your high school career, you have an opportunity to take on the world and pursue your passion, be it in a gap year or at college or at university. It sounds so easy to do that, but we all know that it's not. I want to tell you a little story about taking on the world. Just a few weeks ago, our board member here, Daniel Schmitz, the leadership team of the school, and I were in Starnberg at a conference discussing the future of international schools, and the organizer, the weekend tutor of us, she put up a flip chart with the headline, "The World on Fire," and asked us to come up with our ideas, what are the challenges we are facing over the next couple of years. Why do we think, and is this title actually right? The World on Fire. It took us less than a minute to fill the flip chart with 20 different major fires that we see in the world right now. And of course, we are aware of wars raging in Europe, in Sudan, in Yemen, Taiwan under threat. We have global inflation. We have a global recession looming. We have the climate crisis above all, which is a huge threat. And honestly, I felt a bit overwhelmed and thought, how on earth are we going to tackle these challenges? Where shall we start? And who's going to do that? But help is on the way. Here they are. I see young adults, restless, full of energy and ideas, ready to go out in the world and tackle these challenges. Also for us, grown-ups here. You might think, as I did in Sternberg, that it's very hard to do that, but it might help to know that there has not been one graduating class ever that has not faced the biggest challenges of all times. What counts actually is your action, you getting involved, taking on certain challenges. It is not necessary when you do that to achieve utmost and complete success. That's impossible. But every project you work on, every action you take, people you address and contact, no matter how small the action is, does have an impact on the world and is a little bit of a challenge for you to make this world a better place. And I'm sure you can do that. Here is the second story. We are in August 2007, the night before the very first day of Metropolitan School. I'm assembling 5 little bobby cars for the school opening the next day. The opening went well, the school developed, and today, as you see, is flourishing. But back then, I went out for a challenge. I left the beaten path, and some of my friends and colleagues said that you must be crazy to do that. But I followed my intuition, my idea, and that's what counts. And I thought taking action like this was going to be helpful, going to make the world a little bit better than it was before. My little contribution to making this world a better place. And today, this idea here is called MSF, and we have positively, I believe, positively affected far more than 1,000 students' lives. Both stories tell you that you have a chance to go out into the world, find your passion, your pathway in professions, in your hobbies, and into reaching out to other people and making this world a better place in your own way, whenever you see the opportunity. You do not need to become world famous. You do not need to be a politician to do that. And certainly you do not need to be an influencer with over 100,000 followers or a rock star, right? The second story also tells you that it may take as long as it takes until you have this chance. So I started MSF when I was quite old. I'm going to tell you how old I was. Don't be afraid that you won't see the options. When they occur, it happens that you will certainly notice, and with the words of Steve Jobs, he described this very nicely, as with all matters of the heart, you are not going to miss out on it when it hits you. So follow your instinct, follow your inner voice, against the odds and other people's views. Everything will come together in the end. Go out there now and conquer the world in your own way.
It is now the moment that we've all been waiting for, the awarding of the diplomas. I would like to kindly invite Mrs. Dodd, our assistant principal and IB coordinator, to the stage in order to read out the names of the graduates.
Distinguished guests, welcome to this wonderful event. And I have the honor today of welcoming my beautiful, beautiful graduates of 2023. And we're going to start calling on the stage Shireen Adam. Paul Bialou. Mariana Jafarian. Min Do. Victoria Erson. Clara Esters. Mara Emily Geoffroy. Karim Khadour. You'll have to. Oyon Scarlett Kim. Tilda Clémentine Collett. Julie Marie Leguerne. Patrick Marcel Morshik. Lara von Preising. Carolyn Schaffer. Alexander Schild. Sorry. Carolyn, come back.
Again, you are graduating twice.
Alexander Schild. Maria Schild. Neil Sharma. Letizia Sobczyk. Ariane Sorensen Albisu. Nicholas Welling. And Olivia May Webb. Congratulations.
It is my pleasure to introduce our second musical performance. Please welcome the MSF Ensemble performing Moondance by Van Morrison. "16 years ago, Mr. Ferris opened the doors to MSF, welcoming the first batch of students to join the school. A school with the aspiration to create a warm, welcoming atmosphere where students discover their talents, challenge themselves, and achieve their personal best. Paul, Laura, Carolyn, Neil, Emily, Tilda, and Nicholas started their academic journey through MSF, starting in our early years program in the second year of the school's operation. We would like to celebrate their commitment to the school by awarding them with the Founders Award for having spent their entire academic career at MSF. In fact, if my math is correct, they have spent nearly 20,000 hours walking the halls of MSF. That is roughly 20% of the total waking hours of their young adult lives. Congratulations. Please come to the stage. It is now time to present this year's Senior Awards. We present these awards to students who embody the IB Learner Profile attributes. The first recipient is well noted for being knowledgeable, principled, and caring. Congratulations, Lara Prasing. The second recipient is well noted for being open-minded, caring, and a thinker. Congratulations, Paul Bellew. last recipient is well noted for being a risk taker, balanced, and reflective. Congratulations, Ariana Sorensen Albisu. It is now time for the Salutatorian and Valedictorian speeches. The Salutatorian is the student with the second highest GPA across grades 9 through 12. This year's Salutatorian is Olivia Vepner. Please welcome her to the stage.
Thank you. Dear graduates of the class of 2023, we grew up. We grew up from having nap time to needing even more naps. From sandboxes to house parties, from 1 + 1 to horribly unsolvable differential equations. We learned how to speak, read, write, and procrastinate. We said, lol and slay, as if we were supposed to. And we danced to lyrics we did not understand, like with the song Gangnam Style. All we ever wanted was to grow up, to be tall enough to ride the roller coasters, to be old enough to go clubbing, independent enough to drive together with our favorite music blasting. As a wise bear, Winnie the Pooh once said, we didn't even realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun. However, believe me when I say, this has not been a walk in the park. The world is a threatening place, with viruses, wars, burnouts, and facial acne. Yet, despite all odds, we still managed to stand here today. Not only did we survive the struggles of being regular teenagers, but we also lived through lockdowns and learned as avatars. But instead of shutting down like the world around us, we managed to make the best out of it. When Zoom lessons started, everyone suddenly had poor Wi-Fi connections that didn't allow them to use their cameras. And just like that, spending your classes in bed suddenly became possible. It's crazy how time flies when you're in a pandemic. 2019 is already 4 years ago. During that time, we have stressed about and mastered our IGCSEs. We were finally able to move into the IB Lounge, where we were dramatically outnumbered. The vigors of the high school diploma and the international baccalaureate, which many of us still don't know how to spell, truly bonded us together. The last year has not only been the most toughest and most challenging, but at the same time, the most rewarding and connecting. We were so excited to finally go on our first class trip all together to Paris and Prague. But when our class bonded the most was actually during our Spirit Week, just before the stress of the final exams. Running through the school halls at 8 at night and seeing how much our small class was able to do was exhilarating. In only 6 hours, we pumped up 4,000 balloons, filling the entire staircase. We managed to decorate all classrooms, the teacher's lounge, and Mr. Compass's room with great attention to detail. We definitely left our mark. Especially the last couple of months, weeks, probably most of us only today, will start to realize that this enormous chapter of our lives is sadly coming to an end. We have spent over 70% of our lives in schools. Some of us, as we have seen, have literally grown with this school, watching as the building in which we stand today was built from the ground up. However, in the end, no matter how many years we have spent at MSF, they will all be remembered. In a few months' time, at university or during our gap years, we will undoubtedly look back at our last days at MSF. As SpongeBob said it best, you will never know the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory. And in the end, it is not the grades, IAs, EE, or orals that we will remember, but instead the relationships that evolved throughout the years and the people we became because of them. Even though our grade has reduced dramatically in size in the past years, we have all grown into strong, unique individuals with limitless potential for the future ahead. Soon, our class will be spread across the entire world. In a couple of years from now, we will dominate countless fields, from physicists to IT specialists, to lawyers, medicals, psychologists, teachers, art directors, and magicians. Growing up is a funny thing. You're usually the only one unaware of your own development. However, if you look back once in a while, you'll start to notice all those little moments that made you who you are today. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my parents for believing in me and making this education possible. I also want to thank our teachers for genuinely caring for us as individuals and supporting us in every way possible. As our academic paths diverge, we will honor the holy tags bestowed to us from the IB gods by our IB mom, Miss Dodd. And just like that, we are done. Today, our school life is officially over. As we stand at the brink of our future, uncertain of what lies ahead, let us face it with courage, optimism, and gratitude. And with Buzz Lightyear, we shall go to infinity and beyond. Congratulations, class of 2023. We grew up.
The valedictorian is the student with the highest GPA across grades 9 through 12. Please welcome to the stage the valedictorian for the class of 2023, Mariana Jafarian.
Good afternoon, class of 2023 graduates, parents, family, friends, and teachers. Let's go back in time to grade 5, when the idea of graduation first left a mark. Less than half of our grade was at MSF, but I'm sure everyone went through a similar experience. We received our school emails and felt old and mature using our laptops managing Google Docs and Google Classroom. We also found out that our grade email was going to be class of 2023 at msf.education. You can probably guess the rest of the story, but we asked ourselves, why 23? And then realized after doing the maths that it was the year we were graduating. We saw the giants of the secondary building who at that time weren't even seniors and thought, that's going to be us. The idea was difficult to grasp, yet here we are, somehow. The oldest students at school finally saying goodbye. The expression time flies takes on a new meaning with every year that passes, and right now it's hitting especially hard. This is our moment, class of 2023. The moment we've been waiting for a very, very long time. We deserve to be proud of ourselves. I wouldn't go to the extent of roaring our own names to the four winds like a certain Glunui, but why not? I've never seen us all work this hard, if not these last 2 years, at least the last few months leading up to the final exams, the finish line. The past few years have been frustrating and exhausting. At some point, it felt as though it was never going to end. The pain, though, makes this moment of fulfillment and joy that much more rewarding. We survived, we did it, we crossed the finish line, and we all deserve to hold our heads up high and savor this moment. Class of 2023, a peculiar bunch we are. A small grade, half the size of the others, which has its pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Obviously, the fact we have such small classes and have the teachers' utmost attention. Some may consider it a con, those trying to hide at the back of the class because there is no back of the class. In the future, in classrooms or lecture halls with hundreds of students, we will think back to the good old times at MSF where we actually had teacher-student relationships. Now the cons. We are a bit sick of each other and need some time apart after seeing our faces every single day. The small grade meant there was no escaping them. We might see each other again for a high school reunion in 10 years. We might need 20 years to fulfill the curious part of ourselves wondering what our classmates have become. Although we are ready to move on, we've grown into adults together, and I'm sure we will miss each other. Our grade and the years spent at school make up pieces of the puzzle that shapes who we are today, so it's inevitable to forget it all. The IB learner profiles are up next. Before you roll your eyes, class of 2023, I'm not going to say that we are all knowledgeable thinkers and risk takers, even though we are. I'm simply making a request to the IB to add the learner profile, procrastinator. If there's one trait we have all developed and perfected these past 2 years, it is definitely that one. Procrastinating has bonded us in an unexpected way. We could all relate to struggling with the workload and relate to how we were doing so terribly at moving forward with it. We collectively ranted and sighed. In those moments, we realized we were on the same page and were truly all in it together. If someone ever asks us about our education and our time at MSF, we will all have unique personal memories to share. And the one thing that will stick with all of us for a very, very long time is the neon colors of the building. MSF, you will not be forgotten. We are eternally grateful to our parents for opening countless doors thanks to the international school and baccalaureate. A round of applause for you. We are also grateful to Mr. Ferris and the staff for making MSF what it is today. A round of applause for you. Class of 2023 gets some credit too, because in the end, it comes down to us and what we decide to make out of our lives. So, a final round of applause for us. MSF, the time has come for us to say goodbye.
Dear graduates, parents, faculty, and members of the board, we do hope that you've enjoyed the 2023 graduation ceremony from Metropolitan School Frankfurt. Seniors, you've done it. Take a deep breath, soak it all in, and that little piece of paper that you now hold in your hands represents to the world that you have become well-rounded, independent thinkers, equipped with the skills, knowledge, and understanding to master the challenges of the future. Have a look across the audience and quietly thank those who have supported you along the way. Parents, what can I say? You have done a brilliant job raising such respectful and responsible young adults. And today's ceremony marks a milestone in their lives. It is one of both endings and new beginnings. And graduates, as you go off to make your mark in this world, I encourage you to venture forth with passion, purpose, and promise. Much has been said about living a life of passion. In fact, as students, I'm sure you've been told to find your passion. The presumption, of course, with that statement is that passion is somehow outside of ourselves, that there's some external force that will spark something inside of us. And if passion is external, then we spend time looking for it. And we are often let down and we do not feel that spark. Sometimes we even feel that there's something wrong with us if we've not found our passion. I would like to challenge that belief. Rather than seek out your passion, I urge you to seek out with passion. Take on new challenges. Push yourself beyond your comfort zone and lean into fear. For passion is not an external force, but rather a way of being that comes from within. When you work, work with your whole mind. When you speak, speak with your whole voice. And when you love, love with your whole heart. Be present in the moment. Be curious about the future. And when confronted with the monotony of daily life, be spontaneous. So as you venture forth, do so with passion. And if finding passion is a fool's errand, then we need another target, another goal to set our sights on, lest we be a rudderless ship. This is where purpose comes into the equation. Purpose is tantamount to your calling, your reason for being. It is what brings meaning to your life. Having purpose is what gets you out of the bed in the morning, ready to take on the challenge of the day. The Japanese refer to it as ikigai, loosely translated to your life's value. As we often do in the West, we've appropriated this concept to create Instagram-worthy infographics. Maybe you've seen them, but it does bear noting the highlights of ikigai. It is the intersection of what you love to do, what you are good at, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs. That last one is really important. Let's face it, the world is in great need for change on a number of fronts. Climate change, food insecurity, infectious diseases, and conflict plague current and future generations. It is incumbent upon you to find your purpose in making the world a better place. There is a saying in the Boy Scouts to always leave the campsite cleaner than you found it. And if the world is our campsite, graduates, it's time to start cleaning. So as you venture forth, do so with purpose. Today is graduation day. It is an enormous milestone, and it marks your entrance into adulthood. You will quickly discover that the outside world is a harsh and unforgiving place. As you learn to navigate these rough waters, do so with promise. To have promise is to embody the quality of potential excellence, and you all have such great promise. Day in and day out, your teachers have seen this promise as you've matured not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. Now, as you are about to leave the comforts of MSF, a place where if you fall down, there are so many here to help pick you back up, I ask you to make a promise. Promise to always bet on yourself. At some point in your university career, you will undoubtedly ask yourself, am I good enough to get through this? Yes. Yes, you are. As you start your first job, you may ask yourself, am I capable of doing this? Absolutely, you are. And when you take on your first leadership role, you may question yourself, can I lead this team? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. Always bet on yourself, and I promise you, you will never lose. So as you venture forth, do so not only with the promise that you make yourself today, but do so with passion and purpose. Thank you. Graduates, please rise. By the power bestowed upon me through all of our accrediting bodies, the International Baccalaureate, the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, and the Council for International Schools, I deem you graduates of the Metropolitan School Frankfurt. You may now move your tassel from your right to your left. Congratulations. And while we have you standing, I ask all MSF faculty and staff in the audience to please rise and be recognized for all of your hard work and dedication. On the count of three, you may toss your hat caps in the air in celebration of this momentous occasion. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations. We got a hot mic? Is the mic on? Is the mic on? It is. Thank you, everyone. You've been a wonderful audience. As you are well aware, there is a reception at Postman's scheduled to start at 6. However, we're running slightly ahead, so feel free to be there at 5:45. Once again, thank you. You've been a wonderful audience. Congratulations again.